Hi, I'm Lorian, and this is Knitting Monologues. It's good to see you. This is a channel where I talk mostly about knitting, a little bit about some other hobbies, crafting hobbies, little gardening for you today. And I record these videos maybe once a week, once every other week. This time I think it's been about 3 weeks. And put them up on YouTube and hope we connect here. You can find me here and Instagram and Ravelry as Yarn Love Turtle. It is Friday the 5th of September. Wow, I cannot believe September. Where did it go? School started. I work in a high school locally. I'm a school secretary and I have my summers off, and I can honestly say I had a fantastic summer. We have had students back now for 2 weeks, and it's great. I love when the kids are in school. I start my day at school pretty early. I start between 7 and 7:15, and I end at 3:15, and that leaves me the afternoon for errands, crafting, seeing friends, walking. I'm a big walker. I like to walk with my dog, walk with friends, and I've gotten a lot of that in over the summer. So I have quite a few things to catch up with you about. Let's jump into it. I'm wearing a blouse. I did not make this, so no, not wearing anything, but I do have a few finishes. So I want to show them to you. The first of which is the Topdown tee. This is a sweater. The design is by Loopy Mango, and it is knit in their, what is it? Cotton. Big cotton. This is what the tag looks like, big cotton. This says the color's canary. It's actually emerald. I knit a different sweater in canary, and I knit the same design, but at a different gauge, a looser gauge, and I really loved the emerald color, so I needed a few more skeins and decided to knit it at a tighter gauge. It's just a little bit less like oversized, but it's boxy, it's a great length. Love this color. Really, obviously a quick knit. I took the gauge down from a 17, I think I used a 15 on this one. It's all in my project page. I think I used 6 or 7 skeins, balls of yarn. I love it. It's very soft, super comfortable. The one thing I will say is this yarn like sheds. I don't know what makes the cotton. I don't know if it's because it's so soft. I did not block this. It did not need it, but I do wonder if maybe that would happen less if I block it. So it's fun. I've already worn it out a couple of times, and I love this color. I'm glad I did it. I made some summer knits, and I only decided to do them in like August. So I missed new knits for summer for the most part. And I ended up knitting 4 sweaters for summer, 2 in worsted and 2 in this super bulky yarn. So I was able to get them done. So that's this one. The other finish, which I'm going to explain to you. I consider something finished, although it actually needs a ton of finishing. So this is the wrong side. This is my Rhybeck vest. This is what I will be wearing to New York Sheep and Wool this year. I wasn't going to show it, but I mean, and this side is just as bad as far as all the ends. But I am, a friend suggested that maybe I enter it into a local like fair for judging. So let me get the right side out. This is Vementry. It is a design by MaryJane Mucklestone, who is one of the gurus of Fair Isle designs. She's a pretty big name out there. And all of these yarns, you can see all these gorgeous, the variance and variation in color. All of these yarns are from Renninger Wool Co. from her sheep. Every one of Jenny's sheep. She has a beautiful, bucolic farm outside of State College in central Pennsylvania. And where she raises merino sheep, and she has one that's a cross, a merino cross, and I'm not exactly sure what the blend is, but the majority of this wool is all merino. Most of the colors are this year's yarns, like the ones that she is selling now. Jenny will be vending at a woolen affair, so you can get those 4 colors she has. The edging is I love it. It is super soft. It has lamb's wool, which I think means it's the first shearing for one or maybe both of the sheep. That's this morit, this brown. The darkest color is chocolate, and then the cream is there, and then there is a gray called pewter. Those are the 4 colors. I was able to get a little bit of some old, I had an older color, and Jenny had a few extras that she graciously sold to me to put this together. So this ends up using 9 colors. I was totally prepared to make adjustments. The pattern calls for 9, but I could have reused and worked with like the 4 or 5 that I had. And let's see, it's a bottom up design. So you knit it, from the bottom up. These armholes and the neck are steeked, so you can continue to knit in the round. One of my least favorite things, I don't know about you, one of my least favorite things is knitting color work flat. I really don't enjoy color work on the purl side. I would much rather have a steek and have to deal with all of these ends than knit color work flat. I had never knit a pattern from a design by MaryJane Mucklestone before, and this was super well written. I lengthened the body too. I used another vest that I had, and I liked the proportions of that vest. I did a shorter ribbing. I don't always love a longer ribbing. To me, it sort of crops the top look, and I don't want that look for me, or I didn't in this garment. So I lengthened the body but shortened the ribbing. And I might have knit it a little bit longer overall anyway. The top from the V and the divide, I think you divide at both pretty much at the same time. Yeah, it looks like it. Some vests you don't. Some the V can start higher. I mean, you can always change it too. And this pattern you did both at the same time, and it's totally fine for me. But basically from there up, I knit it to pattern specifications. Now, this is called for a DK weight yarn. However, when I saw the put up, it didn't really match at all what this was knitting up to and what a DK typically would be. So I sized down 2 sizes. I think I knit the size 2 for this, where I might have knit I was considering a 4 or 5, but truthfully I could tell based on the ribbing alone that it was going to be much bigger than what I wanted. This is my perfect happy size. I knit it on a size 5 needle as the pattern called for, and I love it. I'm so excited. I'm excited to have it. Here's the back. I'm excited to have it for Rhybeck, and I just love it. Super soft. I have pretty much used up the chocolate yarn, the cream yarn, and the morit. This color, my main color, I needed 2 skeins of the yarn. I have some of that one left, but the cream and the chocolate are nearly gone. Like the teeniest bit left. So a friend of mine suggested I enter it into like a local county fair, a Grange fair, and I want to make sure that nobody's going to touch it. Like maybe the person who has to judge it, but I don't want the public touching this before, like, ever, really. But I won't have even worn it in public. So we'll see. If that happens, I will be prioritizing and finishing all of the ends very soon. So this is just I love this. I love how it looks. I love my friend Jenny and her sheep, and I just feel like this is super, super special. Okay, next, are you ready? Because I'm just checking my notes. My drafts. I have chickens. I have a lot of chickens. These are all finished. 8. I have 8 more chickens. Crochet granny square chicken, crocheted ones. So I last episode showed a bunch of chickens that I had made for my local knitting friends, and they said, oh, you need to make one for this person in their yarn, or this person in their yarn. So I'm still working on it because I have one more friend who's yarn. So some of these are friends who dye yarn, some are friends who have sheep, some are friends who do both. One is for my daughter. So let's start, and some are for friends. So let's start with the dyers. So this chicken is in Playful Day Yarns. It's the same pattern. It's all by Sweet Softies. I just changed up the colors in the yarns and the fill. I try to use any of my leftover ends in the filling first. This batch is DK, or fingering held double. The ones I've made prior to this were all fingering weight yarn. So I used a larger hook, the same pattern, same thing. I just think they're too cute. Everybody is loving these. So this is Playful Day. My friend Tara Lynn, I have never met her in real life. I hope she watches and sees this or saw my Instagram. I am sending this to you, Tara Lynn. Oh, the only thing is, my local friends started this. They're like, you have to name your chicken. You have to name your chicken. So you have to come up with a name. Okay, the dyers. Okay, the next 2 are made out of fiber Macguyver yarn. So Susie is going to get one of these, and then our friend Mary Beth Shaddix is getting the other. I have not seen those 2 in a couple of years. Susie is vending at a Woolen Affair and at New York Sheep and Wool. So if you're going to either one of those, or both, you could get a double dose. Some of this is yarn that the orange I did a sample knit for Susie in. So this is one chicken. And all of these other colors are, at one point Susie sent me, I don't know if she was experimenting, it was certainly a gift, it was lovely, some fingering single fingering weight minis. So here's the other one. So these are the same colors, just in different combinations. There we go. Aren't they just precious? I mean, I never did the emotional support chicken. I just think the butts are so cute. And these are pretty much, much more substantial than the fingering weight version, in the sense that they're kind of double the size. So 2 chicken, Susie and Mary Beth, fiber Macguyver. Okay, the next are the farmers. So we'll start with this because you just saw the vest in the same yarns. So this is Jenny's chicken. And I told her you have to name them. Everybody has to name their chicken. So these are I chose to use the 4 colors of the 9 that I had, or used in the vest. I chose the 4 from this, that she will have in this next season, all from last year's shearings. So sometimes I do the sides, like this has dark inside, white inside. Sometimes I'll change the sides just to make it interesting, but I do like, where I can, to use the same overall body color. Okay, we have 4 more to go. We're only halfway there. Next farm friend is Mitchell Wool. Mitchell Wool Co. So I only had so much of their yarn. This is actually a fingering weight, but their fingering weight is a little more substantial, and I crocheted it the same as the DK. These colors are all from a club they used to do. So Cindy does all of their dyeing, and for several months I ordered a custom colorway from her club, her dye club. And again, I switched the color order of the flower. This red is far and away my favorite color. So I only have a little bit. I used a lot of what I have. These are just left really kind of parts. I had the most of this orange and the yellow. So I don't know. Cindy and Sherry may have to, Becca may have to fight over this. Luke, I don't know. But I will be giving this to them. They will be at Indie Untangled. I don't know if they're at New York Sheep and Wool. So I need to find out because I want to get that to them, and I am not going to be at the Friday events, only Saturday. This is made with Foster Sheep Farms wool. I knit a shawl for my mom in this natural color, and I knit a sweater for myself a while ago in this navy. Now this version is for my daughter because she claimed it, because these are her college university colors. And she wanted the pink and the orange. I will make Carol another one when she confirms which show she's going to be at, if at all. Carol has a farm out of upstate New York near Saratoga. And she often also has these gorgeous soaps in her booth. And I'm hoping this is her last year. She is retiring. And she is only keeping some of her flock. And I think she's still going to be at a few more shows, so I'm hoping I'm going to see her, and that I will find that out and figure it out. I might make her chicken navy with white or something different. I have a bit more of the navy. Indigo. So this is naturally dyed in indigo, and this is undyed. So this is Penny. My daughter's already seen a picture, and she goes to Penn State, so she named her chicken Penny. Okay, my last two are for friends. So these are not dyers or farmers. These are friends, and they are going to be going to New York Sheep and Wool with me. They are driving north for the festivals. And I wanted to make a little gift for each of them. They're going to stay with me that weekend. So I asked each of them what their favorite colors were. And then I went into my stash and found yarns for these chickens. So Trish, who is Tie-Dye Diva, said her favorite colors are teal and orange, and this is her chicken. So cute, so cute. Little tail feathers here. So that's that one. And then Tasha said her favorite colors are teal and purple. So she's got this chicken with the teal and purple. It's a little bit more, maybe more green. Teal's a hard color, I think. Or I had a hard time figuring out what was teal, what was blue, what was green. So super cute. So that, I have been busy making making squares. I will definitely say. They're so much fun. And I always love crafting something with somebody in mind if it's a gift. Like, I love thinking of what would this person, like or most. So, okay, I think I'm up to date. I have one work in progress. I have not as many of this is the bag I've been keeping in it. I feel like I've been using this bag for every project. I set my kind of make 15 or so at the start of each calendar year, and I really try to stick with it, and that helps me use stash. It helps me use the yarn I have, purchased or plan to. It helps me kind of focus. So I have 4 more sweaters-ish left. I say ish because this one's partly done, or a good chunk of it's done. One of them is just sleeves, and then 2 are the full sweaters. This wasn't necessarily what I was thinking I was going to be working on next, but I started it and I just got hooked. So this is the Chiaro Scuro sweater. It's rolling. This is a all over color work, sport weight, knit, designed by Carol Sunday. Honestly, I think I started it last weekend. I have had a hard time putting it down. It is a raglan design. You can see the little raglan coming down discreetly down the sides. And I am using yarn that changes colors, but I'm also changing the colors, which is really one way she suggests knitting this design. I think I'm knitting the 5th size in this. Most of the yarn, half of the yarn is most of it is Spincycle, dyed in the wool, the sport weight version. And then I'm using some other sport weight yarns that I have. The Spincycle colors, so I have a dark color, which is Ghost Ranch, and I have a lighter color, which is Cold Comfort. There's a ton of variation, as everyone knows, in all the Spincycles. So you just kind of work with what you have. This knit feels like I am painting with yarn. Mostly what I'm doing is alternating lights and darks. You do not have to make the pattern show up with this way. You could alternate in the middle of kind of a motif. I just decided I was going to make there was enough variety with the color in the stripes that I was going to keep the pattern fairly consistent of when I did the color changes to give it something kind of consistent. That just was important to my eye. You don't have to do that. It's not even required. In the pattern, Carol Sunday gives you a suggestion of where to keep changing color, which would not mirror this necessarily. But I just felt like the yarn was kind of doing its own thing, and so am I. I'm actually also using a little bit of Yarn Hero. I have some yarn from Yarn Hero, so I really picked colors that were sort of earthy. Let me just say, I haven't used a ton of Spincycle, but let me just say, I get what Ghost Ranch is about now. It's something about that color. Maybe it's not for you if you've used it. If you haven't, it's fine. I've gotten by long enough without it. But it is just super cool. Let's see. I did order 3 rescue skeins because I'm going to make this long sleeve. It's going to be a lot. Like, it's going to be a lot to look at, I think, but I feel like I'm hoping it looks cohesive when it's done. This is a provisional cast on for the collar. I don't even remember. I think it doesn't call for that, but I felt that for this design, I wanted that to happen. So I want to figure out how close I want to close the collar up once I finish the sleeves, or at least the body, maybe the body. So I have a bit to go. Not gonna lie, I've probably got another 11 or 12 inches to go. But I'm having so much fun. I am also, Carol Sunday suggests that you kind of take your skeins of Spincycle and divide them up, like cut them within the colors of them. So I have sort of parts, and each time I'm ready to change color, I look at my choices and I just pick one because I want it to have enough variation. I'm trying to bring enough of the blue and the pinks in. I feel like I don't have much pink right here, so I think my next color is orange, so it'll warm up a little bit more. Anyway, I have knit something from a design from Carol Sunday before. I think she is a brilliant designer. My friend Shannon knit this and inspired me to knit it because I love hers, even if she says she doesn't wear it. Just having a ton of fun. So, and I'll see what those rescue skeins look like and decide how to work those in. When it comes to the sleeves, I expect that I will not be knitting these. Most of the time, I knit my sleeves 2 at a time in Magic Loop. I think I will not do this because it's just too much color work. I would rather knit them on small circumference circulars. And I think I'm gonna go back and forth. So I'll knit them, I'll get to one to a certain point and then switch to the other side and go back and forth that way. But super fun knit. Of course, it's kind of warm because it's sport weight held double throughout. So it's gonna be a warmer sweater. And that is the Chiaro Scuro. Okay, a few acquisitions or gifts to show you. So the first thing I want to show you is I mentioned my friend Susie, Fiber Macguyver. I had ordered some yarn from her, 3 different colors. And I planned to use them together. And I asked some of my friends, and they were like, I don't like them as a threesome. I think you could do these two or these two. I asked Shannon, and she was like, in the nicest ways, you must have lost your mind. So instead of trying to make something work that in my mind might have worked, I went with the group, and I ordered more. So because I wasn't going to use all 3 colors for a sweater, I needed more of one color, and I'm using 2 together. So I wrote to Susie, because I didn't see this color, Mandi, on her website, which is, we were talking about teal before, really is kind of a perfect teal. And she said, no, I have some, but I'd rather send you 3 new skeins. Bring the other one to me when you see me next month. Which I only say this, not because we're friends, but did she offer this? She even said it on her like live on Instagram. So if that ever happens, she was like, I just want you to have a cohesive garment. So I ordered 3 skeins. I am pairing it with this color. Oh, I just love this. This is very me. Which is, she calls Glow. I mean, it's, I don't know about you guys watching this, it is blowing up my camera. And I am gonna knit a very simple sweater I've pretty much knit before. It's gonna be striped. I only have 1 of these, 3 of these, so it's mostly gonna be this. And I'm going to put some thin stripes of glow in with the Mandi. It is her Suri Silk DK base, 246 yards still, yes. 90% baby Suri alpaca, 10% silk. I have used this before. I have a vest that I knit in her rust color named Shaddix. That was the other color I wanted to mix in here. And like I said, my friends kind of convinced me otherwise. Nobody else could see what I thought I was seeing. So this is one of the sweaters, I think it's called the Fancy, that I plan to knit this year. It's one of the remaining sweaters. Let me show you something though, because if you ever order from Susie, and I don't know what she's doing at these festivals or what she gives you, but you all pretty much always get tubing. This is a sticker, a badge. Madge is her camper. That is her yarn camper. She brings it to all the shows. And then I think this is now my 3rd pair of Madge needle stoppers. They're so cute. I think she needs those like buttons too. I'm not a button person. I'm actually not even really a needle stopper person, just because I work with wooden needles and I have broke many needles putting those things on. This stuff I use, I have a big tube of it, actually of this color even, and I use it. I practically cut a new one almost every project, because it does after a while tire out and dry, but it's so reasonable. It's like $10 for a massive spool of it. So that is one of my remaining sweaters, in addition to the Chiaro Scuro. I have a all-over colorwork sweater that a friend knit and decided to abandon, and all that's left are sleeves, so I have to do those. And then I want to knit a stripe hype. So those are the 4 sweaters I have left. I have a few other acquisitions to show you. So every week, every other week, sometimes it's a few more, my local knitting friends and I get together, usually at a shop where we can get drinks, coffees or something, coffee, tea, and sometimes people bring gifts or stash they want to de-stash. So somehow 2 of them, Angel and Michelle, showed up with yarn they were de-stashing. Angel's been cleaning. She's moving to out of state, and she brought some yarn. I think this was from Angel. This was definitely. So she brought Aisling yarns. This is an Aran weight BFL-Masham blend. I have 3 skeins of this at 175 yards each. So it's close to 500 yards. Probably a little over 500 yards. Less than 6. I think it's 525. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I can pass this up. It is natural UK raised and milled, 75% non-superwash BFL, and 25% Masham. So she knit a gorgeous sweater for her husband. So I have 3 of those. I think it was Angel who also brought this, which Yes, folks, I have never used Purl Soho linen quill. Now this is the worsted. I don't know if it comes in other weights. I think it comes in fingering, but I see, like, I'm not a super big linen. It's Highland wool, alpaca, and linen. I mean, it's quite soft. This is not a color really that I wear much, but this is a perfect part to tell you some very exciting family news. My son graduated from undergraduate, his bachelor's in engineering this past May. And my husband and I, during his undergraduate degree, he went for a year and a half and worked for a company on co-op. So it was part of his degree. He was required to work. He worked in his field. He thought he would pursue his engineering in the area of automotive. He's a big car fan. And his co-op experience was in an aerospace. Fortunately, it was close enough to home. He lived at home during that time. It was such a gift for us. And he has saved up a ton of money. So when he was in his senior year, you know, we said, we really want you to end strong. You can always come home and you do not have to graduate with a job. Like, it's fine. If you really want to focus on your academics, he'd created a really nice savings and worked hard. And we wanted him to just enjoy what was left of his last year in college. So he did, graduated with, and he didn't have a job at the time. And in this country, it's a super tough market right now, tough for new graduates. And he fell in love with the job in the aerospace and defense industry. Wanted to work for a large company in that capacity doing engineering. He graduated in May and spent literally the entire summer applying for jobs, and a few weeks ago accepted a job at a large company, an aerospace company, working in their defense division, and he has to get government security clearance. So that is the process he's going through now. They sponsor all of that. We do not know what the timing will be. He is going to be moving quite far, not to another country, but quite far. Full relocation benefits, and I'm just excited for him. He did not have a chance to study abroad, and this is really going to give him the chance to spread his wings. It's not a place I don't mind going. I don't mind going to visit, so it's fine. He will be a plane ride away. He actually really dislikes commercial air travel, like as a passenger, coincidentally. But this color is the color of the company he's going to work for. He's going to be in a very warm location. We need a wool hat, but I might make him a chicken out of this. I don't think he'll care, but more to come. So very proud, had a little mom brag moment and had to share and think good thoughts, hope that his clearance comes through kind of quickly. He doesn't have much of a history and hasn't traveled much, so that's what we're hoping. Anyway, this color, I don't know if it has a name. If they do, it's not. Oh, it's called Cobalt Blue. There we go. All right, that is the end of the acquisitions and my little personal update, mom update. I have a few other things I wanted to show you. The first is, while I don't paint or draw, my mom does. And she does watercolors, she does acrylics, she's done a whole bunch of things. And this, every now and then she says, I'm not gonna keep this, if you want this, you can have it. So this summer, my husband and my daughter and I stayed with her in her home in Martha's Vineyard. She gave us this painting. Isn't it so pretty? So I thought I would show you. She signed it on the bottom. I had it framed. Oh, it has a bad glare because I'm sitting by a window. Maybe that's better. I had it framed at a local big box store. I think you can get great frames. This needed a custom? No, this is not even a custom frame, a different piece. that was a watercolor that she gave me. I had custom framed because it was an odd shape. But this was one of their, you know, off the shelf frames, and I just haven't hung it up. So I grabbed it and thought, let me show that to you. Okay, one of my other hobbies is ceramics, pottery, wheel. I started doing ceramics about a year and a half ago, a little less, maybe 16 months ago. I take class through my local continuing education, and it's right back at the school where I work during the day. And the teacher is lovely. I've learned so much from her, and she runs it like an open studio. So you could do wheel throwing, you could do slab work, you could do coil, you could do whatever. You can use molds, and I had a bunch of pieces that were bisque fired and ready to be glazed. I did not go to her classes over the summer. She only offered 3 weeks, and I was out of town for one of them, so it just didn't make a lot of sense. So we've had 2 weeks of class so far, and then the first week she fired a bunch of pieces, so I wanted to show them to you today. So I started making vases. I have gone through a period of making kind of just straight up vessels, like cylinder vessels. I've made a few mugs. I want to go back and refine my mugs, but I wanted to work on vases. So these are some of my early vases. I love this glaze combination. This is actually 3 colors in 5 layers, and it's one of my fallbacks. It's a color that works in my house, so when I'm not sure what I want to do with something, I use these. So there's another one. I'll show you side by side because they're a little different in shape. Same glaze, and I also was working on rounding the bottoms. I'm really happy with how my bottoms of these came out. Super happy. I did make a couple of mugs. And I made one for my husband and one for me, and he's always like, we don't need any more mugs. We don't need any more bowls either, because I've thrown a bunch of bowls, but I'm just working on refining things, and I'll either gift or give away. I made this mug for him. His name is Todd, so I put a T on it. And I had seen a gorgeous, one of the other students in the class had made a piece in a gorgeous deep brown, and he thought this was the glaze he used. I can tell you it was not, because it's very coppery. This piece in the kiln tipped over, and it ended up connecting here to another piece and here. So this piece connected to my other mug, and it connected to someone else's platter. Oh, it had a spot here too. So the teacher separated them and tried to get some of the bits of extra off. And I thought I was gonna throw it away. And I thought, let me bring it home and just kind of show him. Like, she said, you know, you're good at throwing, just make another one, no big deal. And I brought it home, and he refined, he really kind of liked it. And he got this extra bit even smaller and got a few other pieces off, and he colored in with a marker here. I'm gonna bring it back and try and refire it a darker color and see if the teacher can do anything further with this, just because he happens to like it. But I will try to make another one now for him. The one that was for me, I was able to kind of reglaze in the section that got attached to the brown one. So it's still at school waiting to be fired, or being fired now actually. One of the other things that I did, another way to throw, was to take a very large block of clay and make smaller pieces from that large block. And so I did that this past spring. So I have all of these mini bud vases, and I carved into this one. It's really very hard to see. Yeah, there was like a lotus flower. And these are just glaze experiments. Like, you're never exactly sure how things are gonna come out. This one's not an experiment. This is more of the same colors, but another bud vase here. This one I have to fill the bottom cracked, so I need to fill it with something so that it doesn't drip out. This was another glaze color experiment. I'm really happy with this color. And you can see where I carved a heart in here. So this I will, does it have a hole? No, I will definitely use, and I want to redo this glaze on some other pieces. I actually I threw large pieces this week. Two very large bowls. My teacher said, I said, what do you think I should do? She said, you've been throwing a large bowl. I want you to throw a large, like salad, pasta, like large fruit bowl. So I was able to do 2 of those. I did one smaller one first, and I think I did another vase actually. So I definitely on that larger vase, I'm gonna use this glaze combo. This was another combo that I was trying. Oh wait, this is another hobby. These are dahlias. Don't ask me the variety. I don't know. I got a mix, and I have to kind of cross-reference what I ordered with what's growing, because the mix just came in one bag. I was introduced to dahlias from a knitting friend actually, and now my friend Jenny of Renninger Woolco also knows a lot more about dahlias, has been growing them I think longer than I have, and so I'm starting to put my bud vases to use. I don't think I will repeat this glaze combination because it just kind of came out odd to me, but it's working quite well. I brought this to my desk at school and had these there for everybody. So more dahlia pictures on my Instagram account. They're just starting to open. I'm bananas over what they call dinner plate dahlias, which are like the size of your hand. Last year I had some beautiful bright yellow ones, and maybe one of those, I have a plant or 1 or 2 from those that I was able to save over the winter and regrow. They're not budding yet, so I'm not sure. I had white and I had a bright yellow. And those were huge. This year I have this mix, so I have some dark reds, purple, and one is coming out orange now that they're just starting to open. And the yellow or white, I don't know what it is because I didn't label the tuber when I harvested it. And then I have some from Jenny sent me as a just total surprise, some tubers. So I do have a bud on one of those, and hopefully we keep having some warm weather here. And they keep opening, and I'll show you more as we go. I really know very little about dahlias, but I'm having a lot of fun learning, and I'm delighted. It's just delightful to me to see them coming to life. They're just so vibrant. So only one so far is that bloom that has opened is that large. This whole plant with this red are kind of, I'd say they're about, well, you know what? They're about 3.5, 4 inches across in bloom. So more to come on that. No book updates, no other life updates, nothing really. Football started. I am participating in the pigskin party, which is run by Boston Jen. I'm on team 9, and I'm not very good at commenting in Ravelry threads, but I'm really gonna try. I will log my projects as we go and earn points. I've never won anything. I don't really I knit what I knit. I'm not knitting for yardage. It's just, weight, I guess, or grams. I think it's in grams is how you get points for that. That runs a long time. But we really enjoy watching football or having it on in the background now that the season has started. The NFL started last night, and the college, which is near and dear to us because our daughter's school is a great team, and we do follow Penn State. We are going to a game coming up in a couple weekends and we'll see our daughter, and our son's coming with us, so that should be a lot of fun. Mostly I'm just trying to take in the time that I have with my son still being home before he you know, leaps to his next landing place. So many people have said, like, are you sad he's going to be far? And I don't know, it hasn't really hit me, or I just see this as so important for his development as just a human and an adult, young adult, to be on his own. He went to a college that was the perfect fit for him. It was about 9,000 or 10,000 students, so not a huge giant university, not a very small university, and I know what he does for work gives him so much pleasure that I based on the description of this job and the connection he had with the hiring manager at his interview, I just feel good about it. We know nothing about the towns where he might live based on where he'll be located. He'll be working at an Air Force base as a civilian for the company. And look, he's going to do it his way. You know, I was already ready to book like a preview trip with him before school started for me, and I had more schedule flexibility. And he said, no, Mom, I don't want to do it that way. I want to work with the relocation. I want to work with a real estate company they'll give me and go, you know, that way. So I just have to respect that. But, you know, the whole, like, do what you love for work or whatever. It's do work at what you love, and you'll never do a day of work in your life. Like, I feel like that's hopefully what he's moving towards. So it gives me a lot of pride and just satisfaction and happiness for him. So that's the big news around here, I guess. And it was good to catch up with you. Let me know if you are going to be at New York Sheep and Wool. I have not, I looked at the website, I want to say, I was looking to see if Mitchell Wool was going to be at that fair, and they haven't posted the vendor list yet. So I know they're going to be at India Entangled. I'm not sure if they're going to do two. They were at New York Sheep and Wool and did both, I think, one year, but they were at the booth for Salinger Mills, and that closed. So I don't know if Mitchell has been able to get a spot at New York Sheep and Wool. I don't know. So since I haven't looked at the vendors, I don't know what I'm shopping for, especially because I'm going to be knitting more pieces, not for like production, not because I need this in my wardrobe or I love that pattern, really just because I think it's a super special garment. That's going to be my qualification going forward. Super special. I have to figure more out about that, but I already have a few sweater quantities, and so I really don't need too many more. My husband might want me to knit something for him, and so that might be what comes up. I'm only planning to knit maybe 4 to 6 sweaters for myself next year. I already have 4 sweaters quantities, so let's call it 6. And so I feel like that is going to make me be extra selective, and that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a really good thing. So there are some blankets I want to work on. There are still some things on my list for knitting. Those 4 sweaters, there are some mittens, there's a scarf that I started that I need to pick back up, and just some blankets. I am really enjoying the crochet as far as like the squares and the chicken. I am not yet in the place where I want crochet garments to wear. That is not yet speaking to me for some reason. Or like crochet parts. I know there's been a lot of beautiful and very popular patterns with that look, but I'm sticking with chickens for the moment and blankets. So I'm gonna wrap this up. It was great to catch up. My apologies that it's been 3 weeks. I'll try to do better. But I would love to know if you're going to New York Sheep and Wool. Let me know. Or if you're not, if you're knitting because you're not going, something in honor. I'd love to know. I don't know what will be. I am not knitting an ooey gooey, a Rhybeck sweater or anything specific that has been designed. There are a few designers, but you know, that one has a lot of attention. I know Trish is knitting one. I saw it in her Instagram. I don't know if Tasha is making one too. Some of my friends are making them, but they're not actually going to wear them there. I will definitely be in that vest, hands down. Unless it's like 90 degrees, and I might be in the vest with a tank top underneath it instead of a blouse. But I felt like that was the right garment for that event. I might be bringing my lawn chair and just camping out somewhere. It's a big crowd. I haven't been in 2 years, really. I was there for about 45 minutes 2 years ago, and I didn't go last year. So we might just bring lawn chairs so we have a place to kind of like decompress. I'll let you know. We're figuring it out. All right, take care.